Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens, UMP Modified and Silver Crown driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Going to try and stop Smith. He drops down below, throws the block. Up the racetrack, throws another block. McCann goes to the outside. 3 wide for the race lead in the win here at Daytona. Crosses the stripe and we're all reckoning. Brian McCann takes the checkered flag. Blaze has newer tires, 6 laps newer to be specific. Into 3 and 4 for the final time. He makes some contact with Zach Millett. Millett drops it back to the bottom. Off of turn number 4 for the final time. Zach Millett's going to win through the trial for the final time. And oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short's going to win this. He does. Vincent Short wins.
much signal I need to cut across 8 lane? None? I turn now. Good luck, everybody else!
Lucas Oil Raceway, Indianapolis Raceway Park, IRP. Whatever you call it, it's one of America's premier multi-use race facilities. Constructed in the late 1950s and opened for business in 1960. The facility features a quarter-mile drag strip that is home to the NHRA Nationals every Labor Day weekend, a 2.5-mile road course, which is now closed, where Mario Andretti scored his very first USAC National Championship win, and a 5/8-mile oval that has hosted the night before the 500 USAC Midget race, along with various USAC Midget Sprint Car and Silver Crown events and NASCAR Xfinity and Craftsman Truck Series races. Although the NASCAR events have made the move over to the big track, the Craftsman Truck Series will return yet again this July. But tonight, it's race number 18 of the IROC Challenge Series, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV. Let's take a look at the race details for this evening. 200-lap event, 72-degree outside ambient temperature, 48% humidity under overcast skies. You got a 4-mile-per-hour breeze. Track temperature, 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Drivers will have 3 sets of tires over the wall this evening and a 100% fuel load to get it done. Some additional details here this evening. No fast repairs to speak of. 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish, if so necessary. Drivers just finishing up the warm-up session here right now. Fastest on the clock is going to be Kyle Turzak. 21.87, the fast lap for the 051. The 83 of Brandon Mefford, second quick at a 21.98. The 77 of Zach Cleek matching that time. Then 4th, 5th, and 6th. We get some parity here tonight. 22.01 for the 4 of Quick, the 30 of Durbin, and the 9 of Benefill. All drivers running almost identical lap times. Johnston with a 22.04, then an 06, another 06, then we've got an 07, an 07, and then a 10. That's just the warm-up, folks. Might have ourselves quite the competitive race here this evening. I want to remind everybody we do have both stream chats open here in IROC TV and HBR TV chat, so feel free to say hello. We had Drew Prale in here early during the practice session, which we do broadcast live here at HBR TV. Drivers getting a little bit racy here in the warm-up as they prepare for tonight's race. Qualifying already in the books. We'll get to that starting grid here in just about a minute. Now McCann and Benefield just working each other big time through 3 and 4, really lap after lap. Again, this is just the warm-up, folks. Any indication of how this race is going to play out? I'm excited for this one. And the 9 goes around at the end of the session. So that completes the warm-up, so let's do it. Let's get right to our starting grid on the pole position with a lap time of 21.890 seconds. It's a very dominant 0.51 of Kyle Turzak. Outside front row, missed it by 42 thousandths. It's the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Row number 2, Tim Schofield and Chris Mefford. Row 3, it's Neil Quick and Steve Durbin. In the 4th row, it's Brian McCann and Nuke Quick. Row 5, Adam Benefield and Josh Stewart. Row 6, Todd Kleek and Garrett Johnston. And rounding out the field in the 13th position will be the number 77 of Zachary Kleek, who was fast in the warm-up. We'll have to watch the 77 as he progresses through the field here tonight. It's your starting grid here from IRP. Pace laps and green flag coming up next. Again, following up on the race details tonight, 200 laps the race distance. 72-degree temperature, 47% humidity, overcast skies. Breeze come down just a bit here to 1 mile an hour and 73-degree track temperature. Stages tonight, laps 65 and 110. Pace car is in. Barney with the green in hand, just waiting to drop it. Field through turn number 4. Kyle Turzak, Brandon Mefford going to lead him to the stripe.
Green, green, green.
Green is called, flag is waved, we're underway. First lap in the books, Turzak leads him across the stripe. Brandon Mefford runs in the 2nd position. 3rd is Chris Mefford. 5th, Tim Schofield. Durbin runs 5th, but Neil Quick takes it away rather quickly. The 2 moves up into the top 5. Brian McCann. It's a B sound here. He's side by side with the 30 of Steve Durbin for position. McCann gets clear, tucks in behind Neil Quick. Durbin battling back on the inside. Neil Quick now to the inside of Timmy Schofield for position as well. Up front, the battle's still hot and heavy for the race lead. Kyle Turzak and Brandon Mefford. Mefford just a couple of feet off the back bumper as they make entry down into turns 1 and 2. Turzak drives away in the middle of the 2 corners, but Mefford getting the run off turn number 2. Down now into turn number 3, closes the gap slightly. Now a half car length between Turzak and Mefford. Turzak now puts a car length plus on the 83 of Mefford. But man, Brandon has really come a long way this season. He was quick out of the box, but not quite to Terzak's pace. He's been watching and learning, I'm sure, as he is right to the back bumper of Terzak, and that's not an uncommon feat here lately. Last handful of races, maybe more. Brandon Mefford coming on strong there, putting the pressure on Kyle Terzak here early, 6 laps in from IRP. Now Mefford gets to the inside, middle of 3 and 4, almost makes contact with the left rear of Terzak. Lifts off the throttle just a bit to avoid contact. They both fight another day, but Mefford loses some ground, a couple of car lengths to be specific. Bit of a home track for both the Meffords, Brandon and Chris. Chris running back in the 4th position as he fights with Neil Quick. Taking that 3rd spot away from Chris Mefford, but a crossover coming from the 46 off turn number 2 down the backstretch. They race it out. Mefford not enough room to slot in as Durbin fills the gap. Chris Mefford to the inside of Neil Quick now through 3 and 4. Still on the gas, so is Neil Quick. Out of turn 4, uncontested now. Mefford slots in behind Neil Quick in front of Durbin, but by inches only. Little loose on exit for the 46. Back out front, the race lead still belonging to Kyle Terzak as we've got 10 laps in the books. Brandon Mefford all over the back bumper of Terzak, wanting that top spot. Terzak doing all he can to keep the 83 in the rearview mirrors, doing a good job of it for the time being. Mefford, though, not willing to give up. Just got to wonder how much tire these guys are going to burn up running the pace that they're running. Fastest lap right now, it's Kyle Terzak with a 22 flat. Brandon Mefford at 22.04. Everybody else a half-tenth or slower, but Steve Durbin actually having the same fast lap as Kyle Terzak at a 22.00. Neil Quick still running in the 3rd spot as he continues to drive away from Chris Mefford. Mefford in the 4th spot. 5th belongs to Tim Schofield. 6th is Brian McCann. Behind Brian McCann, though, you've got a battle with Nuke Quick, Steve Durbin, and Todd Kleek. Durbin working around the outside of Todd Kleek in the 45 machine. Durbin in that green and purple number 30. Back to the race leaders, Terzak and Mefford. Mefford maintaining about a car length, maybe a car length and a half between himself and the race lead. 16 laps complete as they're off turn number 2. Terzak still in charge. Mefford just trying to run the same line, still trying to pick up some tips and pointers from the 051. Mefford, though, no slouch even without being in the tire tracks of the 051. Certainly able to keep pace with Kyle Terzak, but these little bull rings, these little short tracks, not always the easiest places to get a pass done if you're very similarly paced as the guy you're trying to run down. McCann looks to the inside of Tim Schofield for the 5th spot. He takes it away, gets clear off turn number 2. Nuke Quick thought about trying to follow the 3 on through. Wasn't able to get it done, but Tim Schofield took a look to the inside in turn 3. Not able to dive to the bottom of Brian McCann, so Schofield's going to relegate himself back into P6. Nuke Quick 7th, Durbin is in 8th. Tina Garrett Johnston making a look to the inside on the 45 of Todd Cleek. Cleek going to battle back on the outside. Nope, not quite. Johnston gets clear. 15's going to set himself looking forward towards the 9 of Adam Benefield. Front, Turzak still out in front, still with the race lead from pole position. Brandon Mefford running still in that second position as well. Carlin going to have maybe 2 now back is the 83 of Mefford. Not quite able to reel in Turzak to this point. Real quick, a Midwesterner himself, feeling somewhat at home here at IRB here in Indiana. Still running in that third position. Chris Mefford, again, another Indiana native, running in the fourth position. Brian McCann up from 7th, rounding out the top 5. Putting pressure on Chris Mefford now for that 4th spot, though. We'll see if Brian McCann can do anything with Chris Mefford here. 25 laps complete of 200 here at IRB. Remember, stage break coming, completion of lap 65, and then we'll come up also at lap 110. Correction, lap 50. Lap 50 is our first stage. Lap 65 would be for the twin 125. Still watching this battle here for the 4th spot. We're right on board here with Chris Mefford. Mefford doing a pretty good job staying out in that 4th position ahead of Brian McCann. McCann having a somewhat uncharacteristic evening right now. Again, only running in that 5th position. Not the greatest qualifying effort. He was towards the back half of the field, starting in the 7th spot. Typically this season, it's been Turzak and McCann front row almost every race, but last couple really hasn't been the case for Brian McCann. Meanwhile, Turzak still well in command of this race as he puts about an 0.8 of a second advantage on the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Mefford starting to lose a right front on that machine. Seemed a little tight on the exit of turn 4. Almost caught the wall. We're right on board with Brandon. See how that car's handling. Almost seems like Brandon's hunting for a better line, trying to find something that's going to work. He was in the middle groove, then he was in the high groove. Almost seemed a little bit tight from the center off. It's kind of what we talked about early on, is how much of these guys going to abuse the race car, abuse the tires, try to stay and keep the pace that they had once had. Terzak's last lap at 22:30. Brandon Mefford almost a quarter of a second off that pace at 22:52. Somehow Terzak finding a way to continue to get it done here at IRP. Meanwhile, back in third, Chris Mefford still in that position. Brian McCann, a car length and a half, not even a half car length off the back bumper of Chris Mefford. Then Neil Quick back into the fifth spot. Neil was running up in third. I'm not sure what happened there to the two. Something amiss on the Neil Quick machine. Again, same situation. I wonder if Neil pushed too hard too early. Got the tires a little angry at him. His pace has slipped slightly last handful of laps. Benefill, the number 9 machine, for whatever reason, is already out of this race in pit lane. Todd Cleek now the last car on the lead lap in the 12th position. Interestingly enough, Zachary Cleek back in the 11th spot. Remember, he was second or third quick in the warm-up session. In fact, let's take a look at that. Those statistics here from earlier on. Of course, it doesn't want to come up. Well, never mind. Less than 10 laps away from our first stage break of the evening. Terzak's led all the laps to this point. Really has a steady advantage over Brandon Mefford, 2.3 seconds. The margin over the 83 of Mefford. A little bit loose off turn number 4 was Terzak. Might have scraped the right rear on the outside wall. If he did, it was just enough to pull a couple of layers of decal or paint off of that machine. Continues on. 45 of Todd Cleek. Just ahead of Terzak here in the fence. I don't know if he was trying to get out of the way of Terzak or if he had a problem, slid it up the racetrack and almost acted like he lost the right front tire. Terzak gets clear without a problem, but now Cleek is in trouble. I gotta wonder if maybe he burned the right front off. Here comes Mefford. Cleek stays up. Mefford lost some more ground though, tucked in behind as Cleek gets in the fence again. Knock on wood, we've been caution-free all the way to this point. Yeah, I think Cleek's got a right front down. He's got trouble. He can't get that thing to turn. Everybody else is driving underneath him and heading around. Timmy Schofield gets clear as well. Cleek just trying to survive to the end of the stage. He knows if he pits now, he's going to be laps down more than what he is right now. He's got one loss to this point. Neil Quick goes on by. Quick has slipped back to P6. Terzak still with a very comfortable 3-second advantage over Brandon Mefford. Brandon and Chris Mefford both running second and third. Brian McCann fourth, Tim Schofield now fifth. Now Zachary Cleek up the racetrack. Looks like he's going to have a similar fate to Todd Cleek. 77 acting like it's down on the right front. Todd Cleek comes to pit lane. Wasn't able to make it to the end of the stage. May have gotten that, gotta fix it, the meatball flag, so to speak. Right front tire likely down on the 45. Meanwhile, Terzak still out in front here as we're getting ready to wrap up stage number 1. Start finish. Terzak's going to win the first stage. The yellow comes out.
Well, you sure you got your release mark correct coming into pit road? Yes, I do, sir.
Terzak wins this first stage. Second was Brandon Mefford. Chris Mefford third. Brian McCann fourth. Schofield fifth. Neil Quick sixth. Seventh was Garrett Johnston. Steve Durbin eighth. Ninth was Nuke Quick. And Josh Stewart was 10th. Field hitting pit lane. Terzak the first to lead him down. Terzak a little deep in the box, but not too far apparently. He seems to be in okay shape. Right side tires going on the number 051 machine of Kyle Terzak. Waiting on fuel. 4-tire change for Terzak. Will it be the same for Brandon Mefford? Yes, indeed it will. Brian McCann just about finishing up his left sides. Terzak down he goes. So we'll see if we can get a word with our stage winner, Kyle Terzak. Pull him up into the booth. Kyle Terzak, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Kyle, congratulations on that stage 1 victory. A dominant, led every lap from the drop of the green all the way to the stage end. 4 tires on the pit stop with 3 sets over the wall. You can end up finishing this thing with an extra set remaining?
It just depends how the caution plays out. You know, definitely going to take some on the both stages here, and if there's a caution at the end, probably I might have to make up my mind on that. But yeah, these first 50 laps, we had Mefford over there pressuring us a little bit, and you could tell he was trying everything to get around me, and I just knew how to protect my tires, and looking at my tire wear definitely helped out.
Saw a couple of guys burn a right front off before the stage end. You guys managed to hang on to it. You going to be able to do the same here the rest of the stage?
Hopefully, you know, I got a really good race car, so just got to take care of the tires and go win it.
All right, Kyle, good luck the rest of the way. Maybe we'll talk to you again.
Thank you.
It's Kyle Terzak, your stage 1 winner. 55 laps complete here from IRP. Pace car lights still on. Should get them to go off here this time by, which would put us on the 1 to go. Real quick, Steve Durbin gonna hit pit lane here quickly. Again, I know we've seen these late model stock race cars running on the bull rings all across North America this season, but though this is still a short track, it's greater than half a mile. Drivers do have some time to make their pit stops, and now Kyle Terzak slows. I think he's letting 45 go on by because we are on the 1 to go. Thought for a moment Terzak had a problem. They're going to wave off the restart here. We're going to go one more time around. See, the pace car lights are now extinguished once again. Turzak and Tim Schofield going to lead them back to green. Then Brandon Mefford, Chris Mefford, Garrett Johnston, Brian McCann, Josh Stewart, Newt Quick, Neil Quick, Zachary Cleek, Steve Durbin, the lead lap cars. Pace car is in.
Green flag.
Turzak gets the jump on Chris Mefford. Mefford runs in the second spot. Schofield goes from second to third on the first couple of corners. Might lose more than that with Brandon Mefford attacking to the inside. Brian McCann there in behind Mefford. 2x2 for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Mefford way to the bottom of the racetrack. Gets clear of Tim Schofield. Saw that in practice. Top line to the bottom. Bit of a slide job out in front of the 12, takes the spot. Now Brian McCann's going to follow Mefford through, trying to get it as well. Schofield free falling here a bit since the drop of the green flag on the restart. 60 laps go up on the board. Turzak still out in front, and it's Chris Mefford and Brandon Mefford. And Brian McCann, Tim Schofield, as they still fight for that position down the backstretch into turn number 3. A little late on the brakes is the 3 of McCann. Tries to get the advantage over Schofield. Now he gets clear off turn number 4. Applying pressure to the 46. Brother Chris Mefford, big time pressure. Might have been some contact off turn 4. A little bit here once again. Turzak maintaining a car length and a half, maybe 2 back to Chris Mefford. Brandon Mefford was applying pressure to the 46 just a moment ago, but now he's got to worry about the 3 of Brian McCann to his inside into turn number 3. Seen these guys battle it out quite a bit this season. Seeing more of it here right now. Indianapolis Raceway Park. Side by side, cross start finish, carries it down into turn number 1. McCann laid on the brakes once again, gets clear for a moment. But Mefford with the run out of turn number 2 will not let McCann in. Mefford with the run off turn number 4 still managed to hang on the right rear of McCann. Crosses over down in turns 1 and 2, drives it almost to the apron. Gets that car to rotate, but not enough exit speed to take the spot away. And McCann now fully clear and really opened the door for Garrett Johnston for a moment. Mefford trying anything and everything to try and gain the position back, unable to get it done here for the time being. Turzak maintains the top spot, then it's Chris Mefford, Brian McCann, and McCann on the charge, putting pressure on the 46 now. McCann is right there looking for the spot. Mefford slips up the track just a bit. Battling continues for the second position. Chris Mefford's got it, really not willing to give it up. Chris not running a full schedule this season. Brian McCann is, but Chris is just out here trying to compete, trying to win some races, whereas Brian McCann trying to do all he can, gain some very valuable points on the 051 of Kyle Turzak. "70 laps complete here from IRP. We're going to jump to an HBR TV side-by-side break. Stay with us, folks. You won't miss a moment of the action. We'll be right back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at IRP, 80 laps complete. We continue to watch this fight for the third position. Brian McCann, again, a handful of laps ago, took it away from Brandon Mefford. Mefford, though, not giving an inch here. He's just about a half car length off the back bumper of the 3. Where Mefford was very strong early stages of this race, battling with Kyle Turzak, staying right with the 051. Now unable to do so as he runs back in the 4th position. Turzak, though, continues to lead this race. Chris Mefford back in the 2nd position, about 3 car lengths behind. Last lap by Turzak, a 22.26. Chris Mefford able to match that speed. Ryan McCann, a 22.26 this time by. Top three all running very similar lap times. As it stands right now, Adam Benefiel in the 9, the only driver out of this race to this point. Todd Fleek, however, running in the 12th position. Todd's still out there digging, giving it all he's got in that 12th spot. However, he is running 3 laps down. Steve Durbin, who had some pace early on within the top 5, now finds himself in the 11th position, the last car on the lead lap. Gotta say though, Brandon Mefford really closing back in on Brian McCann, as McCann might have used up the tire a little bit too much to try and get around the 83, finally get clear. Now Mefford starting to reel him back in. It's just a few feet off the back bumper of the 3 machine. It's right on board with Mefford as he tries to track down Brian McCann and take that 3rd spot back. Mefford across the stripe. At the line, he was a car length and a half back from McCann, but he's been driving it down to the apron of the racetrack, trying to get that car to rotate. Gets real close to the 3, middle of the corner, but McCann, the high exit, able to drive away. Mefford may have scraped the wall just a bit on corner exit a moment ago, but it hasn't really cost him any speed, though he does slip up the racetrack off too. I think there was a big lift there out of the 83 machine as he loses some more ground. Now 2 car lengths between himself and Brian McCann. Again, Mefford drives it way down to the flat of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. He does gain a ton of ground when doing that. McCann able to drive down the straightaway with a little bit more pace, utilizing the higher line. Yes, it's the longer way around, but you carry more speed in doing so. Checking on Turzak once again. He continues to lead. He's led every lap to this point. Chris Mefford still in the 2nd spot, about 7/10 behind. Feel pretty well strung out here. Not a whole lot of battles on the racetrack to follow at this present moment. This might be the closest of them. Neil Quick challenging Garrett Johnston. This will be for the 6th spot. It's about where Neil finished, I think, that first stage in P6. Quick running in the 7th position behind the 15. Quick looks to the bottom into turns 1 and 2, gets alongside Johnston. Might have been a little bit of contact. Johnston a little bit loose on the exit at turn number 2. It's going to open the door again into 3 for Neil Quick. Gets alongside the 15, off turn number 4. It's a drag race back to start finish. We'll see how it plays out down into turn number 1. Johnston way up the racetrack again. Quick pushing it up there as well. He's not running the ultra low line either. He's right there in the middle of the racetrack. Great battle here for position. This for the 6th spot. Johnston didn't hit the wall there. I don't know how much closer you can get. Johnston doing a great job working that high side, carrying all that extra momentum, though it is where the marbles tend to live. Neil Quick finally getting clear of Johnston. 15 has to tuck in behind the 2, and Neil loses connection for just a brief moment. Where has he gone? Does he come back? He does. Nope, there he is. Neil having some connection issues as he continues to blink in and out. Makes it difficult. Talked about it a bunch during the course of the season when the driver loses connection here to the servers temporarily. It can pose some problems for the driver that you're racing with. Garrett Johnston being that particular driver, you have to worry about, okay, well, number one, the driver just disappeared in front of me. Where is he? Where is he going to land? Is he going to come back? And if he does come back, am I going to hit him? Kind of forces the trailing driver to be very ginger, be very careful, just to not force the issue too much and have the driver with the connection issue kind of land in his lap. 106 laps complete here from IRP. Every one of them led by Kyle Turzak as he's looking for another stage win here in the next handful of laps. Ryan McCann battling with Chris Mefford for the 2nd spot. That is heating up pretty heavily here. Lap 107. Remember, 110 would be the end of stage number 2. McCann wants to pick up those points, especially considering the fact that Chris Mefford just out here for a trophy. Not worried about points this evening. 45 of Todd Cleek up the racetrack, gives everybody room. Dives into the bottom of the racetrack, all 4 tires below the yellow line. Slide job, crossover from Chris Mefford off turn number 2. Now they're side by side once again. We'll see if Mefford drops it down. He does the same. Puts the car in the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to try and slide job, but no, not enough momentum, not enough speed to get in front of the 3 of McCann. Brian McCann's going to take the 2nd spot. Chris Mefford not giving up though, right there. Got to the inside left rear for just a moment in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, McCann still has it. Off turn number 4, the end of lap 110, the end of stage 2, and it goes to Kyle Turzak.
Spin, God.
Spotter is calling a spin on the racetrack. I don't think we had one. I think it was just the stage end. Kyle Turzak's going to win stage number 2. Turzak, McCann, Mefford, Schofield, Quick, Johnston, Quick, Durbin, and Stewart, the top 10. The end of stage number 2 is pit stops underway once again. Anticipating a 4-tire change for Turzak, as this will end up being the longest stage, stage 3 of this race. Right sides for sure. And Brian McCann with a 2-tire stop. Right sides only for the 3. He's going to put the 3 out in front of Durbin. Looks like Chris Mefford's going to be 3rd out of the pits. Then Kyle Turzak, Brandon Mefford, Timmy Schofield, Josh Stewart, Neil Quick, Garrett Johnston. We're waiting on Zachary Cleek to get out. Cleek will be the 10th place machine as we get ready to go back green flag racing here momentarily. So, Kyle Turzak has stopped on the racetrack. I'm not sure the scenario there. I think we may end up leaving him be. Trying to replay, see if we can figure out what exactly happened here just a moment ago. Again, Turzak was leaving pit lane. Pulls hard down to the left and just comes to a stop. Interesting. I'll pull Kyle up real quick. Get a word with our stage 2 winner, Kyle Turzak and Steve in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
All right, Kyle, I got to ask, what was that all about? You came out of pit lane and stopped at turn number 3 there. What was going on?
So, I did the blue coat thing and still got an unsafe pit exit. I guess 2 tires were over the yellow line. I don't know, but we had a really good car up until this point. I don't know what's gonna happen now, but hopefully we can get a yellow. I guess when I get up there, hope and pray, because I'm gonna have to burn up my tires to get up there. But I guess we'll find out. At least we got some stage points.
Well, the scenario is you took 4, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
A lot of the leaders out in front now took 2. If you can get through this field, you might be okay, but it's certainly going to be entertaining to watch, so we're looking forward to that. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
It's Kyle Turzak. Tall order here. Unsafe entry. Unsafe exit, for that matter. It's going to put Turzak at the tail end of the lead lap cars as we get ready to go back green flag racing. Brian McCann, Steve Durbin going to be the front row. Remember, Durbin was the last car in the lead lap. Last time we talked about him, here he is, ready for a restart out in front with Brian McCann. Barney with the green in hand. Pace car is in. McCann leading him down into the restart zone.
Green.
There it is. With the lead down the backstretch into turn number 3. Turzak already picking up a couple of spots into turns 3 and 4 as well, as to the inside of the 77 of Cleek. Not the rear view mirror of Neil Quick. A little bit of contact with the 77 off of 4. This is what we like to watch. Turzak trying to go from the back to the front without issue. He's got work to do. Again, the longest stage of this race. He's got some time. He's got 2 cars ahead of him side by side. It's Stewart and Neil Quick. He's got to find a way through. I don't know if you dare go 3 wide. I know the corners here are wide enough, but man, you don't want to risk it. Turzak restarted 11th. He's up to the 8th spot already. Out in front, Brian McCann still with the lead. Now Turzak just behind Neil Quick. Turzak drives it down the bottom of the racetrack. Gets gets to the inside of the 2. Off turn number 4, can't get it done. Tucks in behind Neil Quick. Quick and Turzak both getting clear of the 12 of Tim Schofield. They both pick up a position there, but Turzak still mired behind the 2. Brandon Mefford now running in the 5th spot. He's up the racetrack. Neil Quick can apply some pressure. Mefford, though, looking to the inside of Garrett Johnston. A lot of positions being exchanged here mid-pack. Mefford alongside Johnston. Tucks back in behind, and Neil Quick jumps to the bottom here as Mefford tried to get in behind the 15. Neil Quick saw an opportunity here either to get to that position or block the 051. Hard to say, but Turzak now working to the outside. Little bit of contact. I thought Quick was going to turn around Brandon Mefford. It might have been some contact. I don't know. If there wasn't, it couldn't be any closer. But now Turzak gets to the outside of Neil Quick. He might take this position around the long way. Still side by side, lap 125. 76 remain here at IRP. Turzak in behind Neil Quick. You gotta wonder how patient can Turzak be? How long will he put up with this fight? Neil Quick is hard to get around when he doesn't want to let you by. He's not just gonna let it happen. Slides up a bit, roughs him up, gets into the door, a little loose as Neil Quick off the contact from Turzak. Turzak lifts, gives him a little bit of a break here with still 75 laps to go. Turzak now once again, he slides up the racetrack. Now he switches it up. He's to the inside. More contact. They bang doors off turn number 4 just like they did previously, but switch up the spots. Contact again into turn number 1. Turzak trying to save it. Real loose on entry. He keeps it straight. Neil Quick not going to go quietly. Turzak back to the inside, more contact once again. Doesn't get any better than this, folks. Quick putting some distance on Kyle Turzak. I don't know if Turzak backed out of it to try and cool the tires a bit to make another run at Neil Quick. Meanwhile, Brian McCann still out in front ahead of Steve Durbin, Chris Mefford, Garrett Johnston, and Brandon Mefford. That's your top 5. But we continue to watch this battle. It was between Neil Quick and Kyle Turzak. Turzak backed off. Patience being the better part of valor here for Turzak. He's right, though. He did pick up some stage points. He can either continue to run here and finish, top 5, maybe top 10. Or he can just throw caution to the wind and just go for it. I mean, he doesn't need to worry too much about it. He's won a ton of races this season, stacked up the points. But I don't know, this season, talking to Kyle Turzak when we have, he does not like losing. Really, does anybody? With that said, though, Turzak, I think, has realized that if he continued that fight with Neil Quick the way that he was going to burn those tires off. And honestly, it might be too late. Too little too late for Turzak. He may have realized it a little bit later than was necessary to continue this charge. As he said, he's waiting for that caution, which we haven't had one tonight with the exception of the 2 stages. No natural caution to speak of. Turzak back in that 7th spot. Meanwhile, out front, Brian McCann, he's in his own zip code as well. A half-second advantage over the 30 of Steve Durbin. Durbin again running in second, then Chris Mefford back in third, but that's where the action's happening right now. Chris Mefford, Garrett Johnston, Brandon Mefford, that's third, fourth, and fifth. Neil Quick part of this picture as well, as he's closed the gap to Brandon Mefford. Actually rather impressed that Neil was able to even reel in Brandon Mefford through that battle he had with Kyle Turzak. You see Turzak checked up quite a bit, put some distance between himself and Neil Quick. My assumption there is he's trying to cool those tires down, or he already abused them past the point of no return. Kind of surprised that Neil Quick hadn't done the same. With all that said, though, if the caution were to come out, there's still an extra set of tires laying over the wall. Laps complete here from Lucas Oil Raceway at IRP. We're going to step aside and get an HBR TV side-by-side break once again. Our last of the evening. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
back at IRP, 148 laps complete. Brian McCann still out in front. Then it's Chris Mefford, Steve Durbin, Brandon Mefford, Garrett Johnston, Neil Quick, Kyle Turzak, Tim Schofield, Zach Cleek, Josh Stewart, Newt Quick. Those are your lead lap drivers. Battle picking up here, though. Turzak has reeled Neil Quick back in. This now the battle for the 6th position. Quick now alongside Garrett Johnston. Turzak may pick up a spot just from that benefit alone, but he really needs to get by the 2 of Neil Quick. Quick has been able to hold off Turzak, keep him in the rear view mirror. It's a hot and heavy battle earlier on. We'll see if that continues here with about 50 laps remaining here from IRP. Turzak to the inside, gets farther alongside to Neil Quick than he has in this entire stage. Still stays there. We'll see if he has to run down into turn 3 as Johnston hits pit road. Still side by side for the position. Turzak drops the left sides below the yellow line onto the apron. He's going to get clear of Neil Quick. He's going to have to slide up to block that run, though, and he does just that. Will Neil throw it into the inside? No, not close enough to get it done into turn number 3. So Turzak finally up into the top 5 again here with about 49 laps remaining. Turzak's right, though. He really needs that caution to come out. He spent a lot of time fighting with Neil Quick in that first portion of the stage. Backed off, cooled the tires off, put the challenge on, and now he's starting to drive away. But Neil Quick, Neil's in pit lane. I gotta wonder if fuel was an issue here in this final stage. I know they had a full fuel load at 100%. With the second stage at 110 on a 200-lap event, I don't know, maybe they didn't have quite enough fuel. We'll have to see. We're going to see this thing go on jacks. Right side tires at least for Neil Quick. I'm going to bet it might be a 2-tire stop given that we're under green. He doesn't want to give up all that track position, and there it is. Right side's only for the 2. He's down and away. Meanwhile, out in front, it's Brian McCann, Chris Mefford, Brandon Mefford, Steve Durbin, Kyle Turzak. Still really curious to see how this one plays out strategy-wise. Can these guys out front make it on fuel? Chris Mefford's closing in on Brian McCann here. Now the question's going to be, is McCann saving fuel? Yeah, 100% fuel load here tonight. We talked about that earlier in the broadcast. I'm not sure if that's enough to make it to the end or not. We're going to have to see. Chris Mefford running laps just a tick faster than the race leader Brian McCann. By comparison, McCann's fastest lap tonight, a 22:12. Chris Mefford's a 22:17. Last lap for the both of them is a 22:32. Holding that top spot, 0.4 of a second. The advantage back to Chris Mefford. Brandon Mefford 3rd, Durbin 4th, Turzak still 5th. Turzak's got some work to do, but he's a few car lengths off the back bumper of Steve Durbin. About a full straightaway away from the race lead with 41 laps to go. I find interesting about the whole scenario with Kyle Turzak and his penalty on pit out is he didn't need to push that hard. He didn't need to be that aggressive in pit lane. He took 4 tires. He was going to lose some positions anyway. But if he was able to restart 4th or 5th, I think he would have been okay. Yeah, he would have worked for it to get back to the front. But to go from 7th to the race lead, especially when you got some fast drivers to get through. I know Neil Quick wasn't really in the top half of the field at the time, but he's a hard driver to get around regardless of where you're at. Tire strategies, tire advantages, you name it, it doesn't seem to make a difference. Terzak wasted a lot of tire trying to get around the tube. Yes, he finally got around him, and then Neil Quick came to pit lane. He took on a right side set of tires. The caution's going to come out here. It could be a scenario that we didn't really plan on. Got a few drivers a lap down right now. Garrett Johnston looks to be the first driver one lap down, but Zachary Kleek now in pit lane as Terzak takes the spot from Durbin, moves the 051 to P4. Kleek finished up his stop, 13.42 seconds. That's pretty quick. That might have been fuel only. I don't know if he got right sides only. I don't know. Neil Quick was able to do his in 13.5. So Zachary Kleek very well could have taken just right side tires. Trying to get an answer to that question is if these guys can make it to the end on fuel alone. McCann stretching his legs once again here. It was 4/10, now it's 7/10. The deficit back to second place. McCann continues to stretch the advantage now. Chris Mefford back 9/10 of a second. McCann about a 10th quicker the last lap by. Kyle Terzak still back in that 4th position. Brandon Mefford, the next driver on his hit list, but he's a ways back, 2.2 seconds. The differential between Mefford and Terzak in 4th. And Terzak's going to hit pit lane. Pulls down hard. Did he get rowed down in time? That's going to be the question. Oh, no, he got the wall. Let's watch it here once again. Entry to pit lane. I think he got the end of pit road. Man, he made a hard left entry into pit road, catches the grass on the inside, and just pounds those barrels that protect the end of the pit wall. That's going to be race over for Terzak with no fast repair to deal with. Pretty significant front and right side damage to the 051 as lap 172 is up on the board. Tough break for Terzak. Meanwhile, Brian McCann back across the stripe as the race leader, 1.4 seconds, the advantage over Chris Mefford. McCann having a decent race. We're going to watch the better race between two drivers here. It's Chris Mefford and Brandon Mefford, the brothers going at it here, 2nd and 3rd. That's what we're contesting here. Chris Mefford's got it. Brandon Mefford wanting to take it away. second continues. Chris and Brandon Mefford back and forth. Brandon seems to be just a hair faster than the 46 at this point. Able to hang on now. Chris, that is, the 46 to that second position, about a half car length to a car length ahead of brother Brandon. McCann just loving it. Those two are going at it as he's maintaining a 1.5 second advantage back to second place. About half a straightaway. Turzak still sits in pit lane here. I'm assuming he's out of this one at this point. He's been sitting there for about 4 solid minutes trying to get some repairs made to his machine after making contact with the end of pit wall. Really drove it hard down in there, trying to make up as much time as possible. Unfortunately, got the short end of the stick. Still, we watch this fight for the second spot. Chris Mefford and Brandon Mefford. Chris in the 46, Brandon the 83. As it stands right now, the top 6 on the lead lap: Brian McCann, Chris Mefford, Brandon Mefford, Steve Derman, Timmy Schofield, and Nuke Quick. Closes in once again, scrapes the wall on the entry to turn number 3. Doesn't lift out of the throttle at all for it. Still there, a few feet off the back bumper, the 46 off turn number 4. Brandon may have something for Chris before this one's over and done with. Turzak remains in pit lane. Looks like he's going to end up finishing this one in the 12th spot. Still watching this fight for P2. Mefford versus Mefford down into turn number 1. Chris still has it. We saw it early on, Turzak and Neil Quick battling. Turzak obviously very, very fast. Neil Quick's no slouch, but Turzak's been the class of the field all night long, and he could not get by Neil Quick. Burned up his tires. Eventually got by the two, but very quickly thereafter, Neil Quick hit pit lane to take some tires, and Mefford goes to the inside on Chris Mefford. Unable to get it done, drives it down to the bottom like we saw him trying earlier on. All 4 tires below the yellow line on the flat of the racetrack. Chris Mefford now switching lanes. He goes to the middle lane, opens the door top side for Brandon Mefford. Mefford's going to try and carry the momentum through turns 1 and 2. Big time run, crosses over, looks to the bottom off turn number 2. Might have the run down into 3. We'll see. Mefford versus Mefford. Brandon now up into the second spot. Gets clear of the 46. Does Chris have anything for him back into turn 1? No. 10 laps remain. Brian McCann still out in front. Missed the battle for the second spot. McCann enjoying a full straightaway plus lead over second and third. Durbin well back in the 4th position. He's got 6.4 seconds behind Chris Mefford in 3rd. Also has a 4-second advantage over 5th place Timmy Schofield. I think the key to success here for Brandon Mefford is I think he was faster to begin with, but again, we saw it. You got a guy that's quick, no pun intended, behind another driver who's slightly slower and not by a large margin. The driver that's in front has the advantage. The clean air makes a difference. Kind of air block, even with these late model stocks, very similar to what you would do with the next gen Cup car. Gen 7, that is. You see the distance, though, Brandon has put on Chris Mefford since making that pass. It's just been a few laps, and he's got almost a half straightaway advantage over 3rd place. Just makes you wonder if he was able to get clear of that 46 sooner than he had. Would he have been able to run down Brian McCann? 5.5 laps to go here from IRP. We've been caution-free with the exception of our stage breaks. We've got 5 laps remaining. Maybe we can go all the way to the checkers without one incident to speak of. Honestly, I think Terzak's was the closest to a caution. He got the wall, but it was in pit lane, so no yellow. Fortunately for the old 51, though, he's going to finish it out here in the 12th spot. We got Ken Couch in the chat saying, "Hey, Steve." Hi, Ken. Thanks for checking in, man. Appreciate that. You and Drew Prell saying hello. 3.5 laps remain for Brian McCann. Unchallenged. Brandon Mefford now, same scenario in the 2nd spot. Chris Mefford still runs in 3rd. You got Josh Stewart in the 03, just ahead. He's not on the lead lap. Josh running in 10th. McCann with the race lead, a lap and a half to go through 3 and 4. Going to look for the white flag on the exit of turn 4. 1 lap to go for the 3 of Brian McCann, and a victory awaits. Two more corners for Brian McCann. Started in the 7th position. He's going to take it to a top spot, a checkered flag, a race win here at IRP, and he takes it. Fireworks going up in the air, and for the 2nd position, it's going to be Brandon Mefford. 3rd, it'll be Chris Mefford. Brian McCann, your race winner. that, we'll step aside, take a quick break. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook. Back at IRP, Brian McCann with the race win here tonight. Let's see if we can get a word with the driver of that number 3 machine. Brian McCann, it's Steve with HBR TV. You're in the booth. You got us?
This is Brandon, Steve.
Oh, let's try that again. Brandon, we'll get to you in a minute.
That's fair.
All right, this time for sure. Brian McCann and Steve with HBR TV. You got us?
Hey, I do. How's it going?
Brian, congratulations, man. We pulled Brandon up here inadvertently at first, but nevertheless, a 7th place starting position here tonight at IRP. You didn't seem to have the pace early on. I don't know if that was just a matter of tire savings or just kind of feeling out the race car, making a plan for the strategy play at the end of stage number 3. But nevertheless, stage 3, you take two tires on that pit stop. You get out with the race lead. You never look back. No real challenge to be considered. Walk us through the mindset there. We know Turzak was going to take 4 tires. Nevertheless, he did take those 4 tires, but then had a pit exit penalty, an unsafe exit to worry about. Was no longer a factor after that. Tell us about your race.
Oh yeah, Kyle was fast. So in practice, I was trying to set my car up for the long run, and that's all I focused on. I didn't focus on anything else like qualifying or whatever. So I tried to go out and do qualifying, and I didn't know what to do. So that's why I got 7th. So come out in the race, and then like the first 2 stages, I'm kind of starting to doubt myself. You know, like, did I set my car up right? And luckily I got up 2nd or 3rd, whatever. And then I took 2 tires, and nobody, or I think one other car did, maybe Steven, and came out and just maintained from there. You know, I had to save a little bit. I let Chris catch me a little bit, like half a second, and then I just kind of held him there and saving my tire, and then took off from him. So yeah, I hate that happened to Kyle. I think he was probably one of the stronger cars out here, but I'm glad to take a win.
Take the checkered flag here tonight. Let's go back to setting up the car for the long run. I know you did mention that, but these are fixed setup races. So what can you do as a driver in that aspect as far as setting up the car for a long run instead of making it quick on the short run?
Those are the secrets, but I can tell you it's just the feeling of how you need to drive it. Like you said, fixed setup, so we can't change anything. So you're basically just practicing a type of driving and not just focus on not wearing out the right front, because that's what we were out here killing tonight.
We did see that a little bit here in that first stage. Some drivers actually having right front tire failures. You guys, even with the pace that you had, were able to get it to the stage end. Was there a worry there with stage 3 being the longest of the night?
Yeah, I never did any long runs like past 20 laps or something, so I was kind of wondering, and turns out at the end there I had 17% left on my right front, so I was close.
Getting close for sure. Brian, congratulations, man. Looking forward to Hickory Motor Speedway next week. Certainly a much smaller racetrack by comparison. I think it's about half the size of this place, but how do you feel about your odds next week to make it 2 in a row and make it a 5th win?
It just comes down, can we beat Kyle? I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Brian, congratulations. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
My family, you for doing the broadcast, the league admins, Chris Wally putting this show on, sponsors for helping us out, drivers for showing up, and everybody watching tonight. Thank you.
All right, Brian, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
Hey.
Brian McCann, your race winner here at IRP. Next, we're going to talk to Brandon Mefford. We got a little premature on pulling Brandon up here a minute ago, but runner-up finish for the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Brandon, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got me?
I do.
Now we got you loud and clear. Brandon, congratulations. A solid run, man. You start outside front row. You really put that thing to the floor trying to keep up with Kyle Turzak, put the challenge on. You got alongside a couple of times early on. You had a fast race car. I know we've talked about this a little bit here. A couple of times you've had opportunity to talk up here in the booth. Your skill levels certainly improved here in this late model stock as this season has wound down. What's been the secret? What's made you faster?
I'm running it twice a week. I run a little, like a Saturday night 30 lap, 40 lap races on Wednesday nights, so that's helped quite a bit. Got a couple guys that run these in real life, been talking to them a little bit, but overall it's just getting toward the end of the season. We're starting to figure this thing out, and we're not as fast as Kyle, but we're catching him.
On the raw pace alone, you seem to be pretty darn close. It's been within half a tenth almost every lap. It seems maybe the long run might be the struggle point. What can you change going forward to maybe try and stick with Turzak there at the end of those long runs?
I don't know what he's doing. He's got to be doing something with his throttle and brake there on entry, because he really just turns the car and it really rolls. So I struggle in the middle of the corner getting it to rotate, so I'm losing that right front faster than he is. So if I could figure that out, we'd battle it out. I can guarantee you that.
So with all that said, we've seen you take the car down way to the bottom of the racetrack, right down to the apron a lot of the time. Is that really helping that car rotate quite a bit?
It does help it rotate. You gain a lot of ground up there, but getting up off the corner, you got to wait so long. So if you don't get down there deep enough, you really kill your exit. So I've raced here in real life, and I got to be down there in my late model, my street stock. So I knew what the car would do. I was just down there playing, having a good time, and making up a little ground here and there whenever I'd try something to lose a little bit to Chris and those guys there for a minute. But yeah, man, it does rotate the car. You gain about 2 or 3 tenths down there, but then you lose it on exit, a little bit of that. So not good enough to make a pass, but it makes for a good fun time.
Certainly entertaining to watch. It was fun for the broadcast. Are we going to see more of that at Hickory next week?
I'm not sure what we're going to see at Hickory. We might see a demolition derby.
Well, either way, the racing has been pretty damn good here as of late. Of course, we got through this one without any cautions, at least natural cautions to speak of. Do you think we can do that 2 weeks in a row?
I mean, it'd be pretty cool if we could. I don't see it happening at Hickory. Hickory's tight. It's going to be guys are going to be going. You're going to be seeing guys move guys out of the way to get positions. It's going to be hard to pass there. So, but it's going to be fun. If we could do that, it'd be pretty great. It'd speak volumes to the crew that we've gotten here, and be proud to be a part of that.
Certainly looking forward to it. It should be a fun race. Hickory's a great place, but as you said, it's a little tight. Could be a little chaotic next week. Brandon, congratulations on the runner-up finish here tonight. Who do you want to shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to you, Steve. Thanks for sticking it out with us, dude. I know the car counts have been down a little bit, so hopefully we can get some guys back. It's spring break time, and stuff's picking up for everybody. So hopefully we can get some drivers back here to finish this thing out strong. But thanks for sticking with this. It's always great to go back and watch your broadcast. And so thanks for that. And then thanks to Chris Wally for putting this deal on. I know he's busy moving and doing stuff too. So thanks for him to keep putting these things out there so we can race every week. Thanks for everybody that showed up. All the sponsors that put this thing on, Spartan and all those guys. So and then shout out to Zoe's Place. And all my buddies over at Charity Motorsports and all the charities that we race for.
All right, Brandon, thanks for talking to us, man. Congratulations again on the second place finish here at IRP. Good luck next week at Hickory.
Thanks, Steve. Take care, bud.
Brandon Mefford, your runner-up here at IRP. Next, we're going to talk to Brother Chris. Pull the driver of the number 46 machine up into the broadcast booth. Get a word with Chris Mefford. Chris, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got me?
I got you.
Chris, congratulations. A third place finish. I know you probably wanted that runner-up at least to edge out Brandon, but it wasn't meant to be. He got you there late. Walk us through your race. I know you're running this season here as somewhat of a part-time effort, running the tracks that you really enjoy would be kind of my assumption given you're an Indiana boy yourself. But walk us through the mindset here tonight. What was the plan coming into it? Did it change at all? Did you stick to it? What was your mindset when you were fighting there with Brother Brandon, trying to hold him off for that second spot?
Well, the mindset definitely took a 180 turn. Pulled a muscle in my back, which sent me to the clinic right after during work. So my intention was not to run, and Brandon's like, hop in here. There's only a few guys, so I was like, fine. So as you've seen, I hopped in there with 5 minutes to go in the practice session. So I didn't know what I was really getting into. A lot of the other cars and trucks and everything else, you really got to let them ride. I go out there and turn the lap 3 seconds slower. I didn't figure out what was going on. Then I hear Kyle and Brian just hauling the mail going in the corner. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess you really got to drive it. So I didn't really get much practice on saving tires or anything like that. So I kind of kept pace there with Kyle there on that second stage, which I was really impressed, knowing that he's the Aaron Smith of this year's season. And then obviously got Brian up there. So me and Brian had a battle there at the end of the first stage, and then obviously right there at that second stage. So I knew me and Brian was been decently close. And then Brandon was kind of hitting around. He fell back a little bit at that first stage, and I'm not sure if he picked up what I was telling him for that second and third stage. But he obviously came alive. So now when we was all battling, my back wasn't really spazzing very much, or not that I noticed. But then, once I started losing Brian, then I was punching my tires off and started racing again with Brandon, and then my right front just went away. So I was just kind of rode around the last 15 laps. So, it'd been fun to see Kyle and Brian up there wrecking each other so we could get another caution. But, it is what it is, and, kind of wish Kyle didn't have that that black flag because I think it's had a pretty good race there at the end.
It was fun watching Kyle battle it out there with Neil Quick for a while, unable to finally get clear of the two, and ultimately hit pit lane, and then hit pit lane a little too hard, caught the pit wall itself on entry. But back to you, Chris. It's always good to see you here out running these races here at IROC, or really anywhere else that we tend to see you when we broadcast these races. And we're going to see you running next week at Hickory.
Going to depend on how work and everything else turns out. But yeah, with Kyle and Neil is a pain in the rear to pass or to race with. You know, there's times like if you let him go, he'll let you go back by once his tires burn up, or even if you do catch him. But he's real hard to pass. You know, he races. Me and him race a lot alike, aggressive at times and then soft at times. So it was fun battling him as well. Be able to keep pace with him and get him back after that first stage. But yeah, I'm gonna try to race possibly. Don't hold your breath on that one. But it'll probably be Brandon talking me in and calling me a sissy to get me to race.
All right, Chris, don't be a sissy. Come out and race next week. Before we let you go, Chris, who do you want to shout out to?
Yep, I thank you, Steve, at the broadcast. It's always phenomenal. Congrats to Brian on the win there, dominating that third and final stage. Congrats to Brandon getting second. Thanks to all the admins, Chris, and all the sponsors, and my family, and yeah.
I think that about wraps it up. Chris, congratulations again on the top 3 finish, and wish you the best of luck in the next one we see you at.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it.
Chris Mefford, your third place finisher here at IRP. That's going to wrap up the interview portion of our broadcast. Let's take a look at our race results. Hopefully these come up because they didn't for the warm-up, and they're still not coming up. So I'll give you the best that I can. Not sure why that's happening. Let's try this. Oh, it finally works. All right. Brian McCann, your race winner. Brandon Mefford finishes in the second spot. Chris Mefford comes home in third. Fourth place finisher was Timmy Schofield. Steve Durbin on a 2-tire strategy finishes in the 5th spot. So was Brian McCann, also right sides only, remember. Newt Quick comes home in the 6th spot. Garrett Johnston was 7th, 1 lap down. Neil Quick, 8th, a lap down. 9th was Zachary Cleek, a lap down. Joshua Stewart was 2 laps down in 10th. Todd Cleek, 11th, 9 laps down. Kyle Turzak was 12th, 31 laps down, again, after making relatively significant contact to the inside pit wall. He was really trying to gain as much as possible to get into pit lane. I don't know if he would have been nabbed for speeding, but either way, he hit the wall, and it really doesn't make a difference at that point. Adam Benefill in the 9, finishing 13th, 167 laps down. Not sure what happened there to the 9. We did not have a caution all race long, with the exception of the stage breaks. So Adam likely did not have a major issue out on the racetrack. Trying to get that figured out for you guys in the future. But those are your race results here from IRP. Thank you guys for tuning in for race number 18. Next week will be at Hickory Motor Speedway, race 19 on the season. Certainly a bull ring by comparison here at IRP. IRP about twice the size of Hickory Motor Speedway. And it's not that IRP is big. It's a little bit more than a half a mile. Hickory's pretty small. With all that said, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Click the like button if you haven't already done so. Check us out on the website, hbrtv1.com. Click the live tab for the broadcast. Of course, I dropped the ball once again, didn't get it posted up correctly. There's something there, but it'll at least take you to the YouTube channel, and you can find tonight's broadcast from there. We'll try to improve upon that going forward. That's going to do it for us, though. I'm Steve Singer, congratulating Brian McCann on tonight's race win. We'll see you guys next week at Hickory. Thanks for watching.